Hey guys, thank you so much for joining in. Guys, in this particular video of WordPress series, we will understand how you can add hover effect on any element on your WordPress website, just like images, text, button, or maybe other container or any other element using Elementor page builder step by step very easily. Now, if you see on my screen, when I hover on any element, so for example, there is a text called sale up to 100% off for all clothes and fashion items on all brands, right? This is the text. This is normal text. The color is black. But as soon as I take my cursor on it, that is hover on it, the color changes. And if I take my cursor back, then again it changes back to normal. Same way, if I talk about this button right now, you can see there's a shop now button. If I take my cursor on it, that is hover on it, the color changes. And this effect is for the responsiveness and for the feedback of the user, that user gets a haptic feedback that yes, something is happening, something is in process when I am hovering on it, when I'm taking my mouse on it. So it inspires user, it engages the user, and it holds the user attention on your website, so that the overall span or session time of that user visit increases for your website. So let's explore how to do this process for any element. So for that, first you need to have your page ready, and you should have your Elementor page builder already installed and activated. I have both the things with me. Now let's click on edit with Elementor. Let's say I want to do this on this particular page itself. Now to start with, let's try to make some changes on hover effect on this particular text. Let's say when I want to hover on it, I want to change the background color of this section or maybe background color of this text. So for that, I'll click on this edit button. Then I'll go to advanced section and I'll scroll here and I'll just search for this background option. And if you see here, there are two types, normal and hover. Right now there is no background in terms of normal effect, but on hover, I want to give it a background, and that should be classic background. The color of the background should be, let's say, black, for example. Let's say black, for example. It means when I hover on it, it will turn into black. So let's try that. Now, if I have added it, now you can see when I am taking mouse on it, it is changing its background color. Same way, if I don't want the background color, I can switch it off and I can give an image, for example. So I want to give it a image with hover background. So now if I hover on this text, you can see there is a image in the background which is coming up. Now here I want to set up the rotate effect when I hover on it. Right now, if I hover on it, there is no rotation happening. But if I set up the rotate, and let's say if I set up any angle, and now if I hover on it, you can see the text is rotating. The text is rotating. Not only this, scale also. Let's say if I scale, hover on it, the text should be scaled to, let's say, 2x. So if I now hover on it, you can see the text effect is there, the scale effect is there, and if I remove the rotate one, you can see the scale effect is there. So similarly, you can put any kind of effect or transform the text based on hover. Similarly, let's say if you have images or, for example, buttons. Let's understand for button. So right now you can see there is a hover effect on the button, that whenever I am taking mouse on it, it is changing the color. For example, same way, let's say if I want to add a picture, let's say if I add a picture here, and let me take the grid, for example, here, and let me add a dummy picture here just for example. So I'll just drag and drop the image widget, and I'll choose an image also. Now I have chosen image. Now when I'm taking the cursor on it, nothing is happening, but I can set up the hover effect. So I'll just click on the edit icon. Now go to styles, and style here, if you see that there are two options, hover and normal. So we'll go to hover, and if you see that in hover there is an animation option. So let's say if I hover on the image, it should be pop up. So for example, right now there is no effect, but as soon as I take my mouse on it, you can see there is a pop-up animation coming up. Let's say I want the image to be flipped, for example. Let's see, is there any option called flip? So if it is, then it can, but no, by default it is not flip, but there are other options like float, for example. It is floating right this. And you can change the animation border type. Let's say if you want a border to be shown when you hover on it, you can set up a border. You can set up a border, right? And now when you hover on it, you can see the border, right? So there are plenty of options. Similarly, if you go to advanced option, you can change the options like motion effect on hover, or an entrance animation transform. You can rotate the image. Let's say I want to get it rotated, right? So you can see the image is rotating. Similar way, you can add the hover effect on the button as well. So you just need to add a button and then click on edit, and then go to settings. Now you can see the button color or the border color or the border background. So you can see on hover, the text color is changed, the background color is changed, right? The border color has changed. Hover animation, if you let's say want to put some hover animation, so you can see that hover animation is there when I am putting the cursor on it. So similar way you can add multiple hover effect on any kind of text. Now the one thing, so similarly you can add hover effect on multiple items like images, button, tags, everything, and make your website look interesting and more engaging. So guys, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Have a nice day.